There's a favorite Bible scripture of mine. It's Isaiah 61, chapter 7. Instead of your shame, you shall receive double. This is what I was singing the whole day of the event, because my brother, I was about to get ashamed in front of 7 partner states, and I was like, God, this is not my portion. Oh my God. I'm like, God, this is not my portion. And at that time, Musa, what's written on my t-shirt?
There's beauty in the struggle.
That's my advice. There's beauty in the struggle. You have to struggle and see the beauty. The beauty doesn't come before the struggle. So there's beauty in the struggle. There's a lot of beauty in the struggle. You look at your struggles, and that beauty that comes out of it will keep you in awe. But you have to go through that part of the struggle. I once sent an email to Vusi Thembekwayo's team wanting to bring Vusi Thembekwayo to Tanzania for an event I called Jobs and Java. But unfortunately, when I saw the rate card, I was like, Jesus, I will cover peacefully. This is not my league. So seeing you guys were able to do it, even unajua niligombea ubunge wa viti maalum vijana nikakosa kula. When that happened,
If you like this kind of content, if you like watching episodes, if you like to learn, like this video, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, Helena, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Welcome.
Santa Sana.
Yeah. Where did you come from? Because most people complain that our studios are very far.
I'm actually your neighbor.
Really?
Somewhere around, yeah. So it's just like a 14-minute drive.
Okay.
I'm close.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Okay, that's really nice. And I saw you came with 2 kids.
Yes.
One is an infant and one is a bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to be a mom?
It's a handful, but we're getting around it, especially navigating motherhood while you're a woman of career is not easy. Sometimes you need to sleep, yet you have duty calls and you need to serve. So balancing the two is not easy, but by the grace of God, we're doing it.
Okay. I remember when I approached you, and the main thing that you're talking about that was hindering you from doing this podcast was because you said you had an infant.
Yeah.
I remember when you were setting the dates, you're like, oh, Musa, I have an infant, so let's do on this date.
Yeah.
And then I told you, let's do it in the morning. You were like, again, hey, I have an infant, can we do it at 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're a mother, it means everything revolves around your motherhood.
Yes, it does. And for me, it revolves around the comfort of my children. Yeah. So if it wasn't a comfortable idea, as much as this is the most loved podcast in the world, I'll miss. Okay. Why? Because in the world, for me, my kids matter most. And I asked you specifically to switch times because I know my little daughter's schedule. Yeah. And I know by this time she'll be fast asleep, as you saw her.
Yeah.
So I know I have 2.5, 3 hours to play around until she wants again to breastfeed and all that. Because again, I'm an infant mother and I am strictly breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know you, can you tell us a bit of your background, who you are, and how did you get here to MOD podcast?
My names are Helena Mollel.
Okay.
I am the former Speaker of the East Africa Youth Parliament, 2020-2021.
Okay.
I am the visionary founder of East Africa Youth Alliance, which before was East Africa Youth Foundation, but switched to be an alliance because we are now institutionalized with the EAC Secretariat, and we're working under them as an institution. So that's where it comes as an alliance with the EAC. And inside the East Africa Youth Alliance, we have 2 major initiatives for now. One is the East Africa Youth Awards, and the second one is the Mama Simba Initiative.
Okay.
So that's me. I'm a mother as well.
Okay.
Of 3. You just saw 2, but I'm a
Okay.
mother of 3. And I got here because I believe I have a lot to share with the youth, and my OD podcast felt it's necessary that I grace their studios, and I'm comfortably and happily here. It's such a relaxing space. I love it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, tell us more about East African Youth Alliance.
Well, the East Africa Youth Alliance, as I initially said, it was formed as East Africa Youth Foundation. This is a foundation that came after me serving as the East Africa Youth Parliament Speaker. I saw a lot of challenges that East Africa youth have, and our main aim as the East Africa Youth Alliance and formerly East Africa Youth Foundation, is to bridge the regional gap of youths, promote the integrational agenda of the East Africa community through youths. Statistics say youth are the majority across the East Africa partner states by population, but yet our voices are of the minority. So East Africa Youth Alliance is here to make sure that we bridge that gap and make sure that youths have a platform, have a voice, but also youths learn about the East Africa community, because the challenge that we face is youths don't know what the EAC is at all. Me too, being in that list, I was once there. I never knew about the East Africa community, what it stands for, what it does, how it works, how we can benefit from it, until I entered in the youth parliament. I didn't even know the East African national anthem. Musa unajua?
Hapana.
Hujui kabisa.
Kabisa.
You see? That's why East Africa Youth Alliance is here. We are trying to also have sit-downs with ministers from all partner states, especially education ministers, to make sure that it's in our curriculum. Unajua unaipenda Tanzania kwa sababu umefundishwa kwa patriot since you are young. You've been singing the national anthem since you're young. But then, where do you sing the East Africa national anthem?
I don't even know if it exists.
You know it, but do you know it?
Mungu ibariki.
Have you ever heard? Okay, my voice is going to be bad, dear viewers, kindly. Mnisamee hapo kidogo, technical issues. Lakini, have you ever heard this song? Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani. Okay, don't make me sing, but I don't know how to sing, guys. But do you know that song?
No. It's my first time I'm hearing it.
You have attended summits, meetings, or have you ever watched when the president, it sung.
Okay.
It sung.
Maybe it's not that mainstream.
It is.
Oh, maybe I'm just not that mainstream.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you attend conferences, right? They always sing the national anthem, then they sing the EAC song. Okay. I'm
actually interested by the way you're singing. You have a very nice voice, by the way. I actually wanted you to
continue.
Yeah, to continue.
Utachagua nyimbo nitakuimbia. Do you have a DJ? Utachagua baadaye. One song. You'll choose one song. I'll sing for you. I'll try.
Okay. So,
but make sure it's a gospel song. I used to sing in choir, by the way.
Okay.
Church choir. Yeah.
I can tell.
Oh, okay.
Unaimba sauti ya ngapi?
Hapo sasa nilikuwa namkimbia sana mwalimu na I was running away from mazoezi. Kwa hiyo mimi najua tunajua kuimba. Kuabudisha sana. Yeah. But sauti ya ngapi, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a soprano or an alto. I don't know. I don't have that knowledge.
So talking about East African Youth Alliance, where would you put it as an organization? Is it a non-profit or is it a for-profit organization?
It's a non-profit organization.
Okay.
It's a non-profit organization, and we work by mostly funding. We get our fundings from sponsors.
Okay.
To make sure the initiatives move. So we're a non-profit organization.
When doing anything, there are a lot of challenges that someone will encounter, and I understand you started this organization from scratch.
Yes.
Yeah, so what are some of the challenges that you have faced so far?
Did you say some?
Yeah.
There are a lot. It's like, it's a pile. Okay, starting a foundation is not easy.
Okay.
It's not easy because, firstly, a foundation like ours needs trust.
Okay.
We need to build the brand that people can trust in. And in building that brand, our visions were far ahead. They were big visions. So even approaching someone and telling them we are planning to do this, they'll look at you like, you do this. All the best. And then they'll fold their arms and wait to see you have accomplished. So one of the challenges that I wish I knew before I started was I wouldn't get support. I'll have to support myself until I show people that that picture that I am painting in my head is doable and achievable. So that's the major hardship that I encountered.
It's very normal that when you do something, people won't support you until you see those results at first. That's when you see a lot of people are starting to come through. Yeah. And as I told you, I didn't know that EAC exists. Yeah. So how long has it been running so far?
Funny thing is, this year the EAC community, the East Africa community, turns 25 years old.
Okay.
How old are you? Don't answer me, but but you know, and as well, I understand where you're coming from because I was there. I didn't know the EAC literally exists until 2020.
Okay.
Where I was in a summit
that
was taking place in Arusha.
Okay.
And the venue happened to be the EAC headquarters.
Okay.
It was this building that I pass. I know it's the EAC headquarters, but what they do, how they do it, never came into my... I never crossed paths with that type of knowledge.
Okay.
So what happened is I had to now ask around, what is this? And then I remember that night we went for dinner because the hostels were at a university in Arusha, MSTBC to be precise. So once we were there, I heard people conversing that tomorrow we're going to do elections for the East Africa Youth Parliament Speaker. And this time it's Tanzanians. It's time for Tanzania. And it's the third time. And in my head, I was like, I'm vying for this seat.
Okay.
Not knowing anything about the EAC, but I said, I'm vying for this seat. The only way for me to get knowledge about the EAC is to vie for this seat. So I'm vying for this seat. So I got challenged because some heavy brothers were there and they wanted this position and they have been serving for years. And I just came in as a newcomer, pop up in class, and I'm like, I want this. So it wasn't easy, but I emerged the winner. And I must admit, by the time they were singing the East Africa anthem, I was just doing...
You didn't know it?
I didn't know it. I didn't. So I learned it there. I learned everything that was supposed to be learned right there. Even how to run a whole parliament. I learned it there. So I didn't get a chance to learn my leadership skills in a class. I practiced my leadership skills by learning.
And you are the honorable speaker of the parliament. How do they choose the speaker? Is it about voting or how is the process?
It's voting. Actually, firstly, you enter the parliament through the forms that you fill for that summit.
Okay.
And then you enter an interview whereby you're asked, why do you want this? Why do you want to be a member of this parliament? You fill in the forms and they choose the suitable ones. So each country had 40 representatives.
Okay.
And then at that time, it was almost the COVID pandemic. So we were just doing it on connecting all of us virtually. For us who were at MSTDC and for others in other countries, in their respective countries, we were all joined through screens. So those who vote for you to be a speaker are all watching you.
Okay.
Like a live watch, and they all vote for you, and then they count your votes, and I merged.
When you talk about youth, so for someone to be in the East Africa Youth Alliance, is there any age group limitations for that?
Right. For somebody to be in the East Africa Youth Alliance, as you mean, or in the East Africa... Okay, I think I get your question.
Yeah.
To be a youth in East Africa, what are the age criteria?
Yes.
Okay, 15 to 35.
Okay.
15 to 35. I know in our respective countries, most of the countries start with 18, but with East Africa, the age is labeled as 15 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where also our awards fall in, the category of our awards.
Yeah.
From 15 to 35, you're eligible to get nominated for awards.
Yeah. And as I told you before, that I never heard of the alliance. So what do you think are the most effective marketing strategies for these kinds of NGOs, non-profit organization, so that a lot of people can know about them and a lot of people can benefit out of it?
I think we basically firstly need more education.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm responsible, as the founder of the East Africa Youth Alliance.
Yeah.
We're responsible to make sure that youth are educated about the East Africa community.
Okay.
Educated. Okay, let me ask you a rough question. How many partner states are in the East Africa?
Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi.
Those are 5.
Yeah, I
You're
only know
missing
about 5.
3.
3?
Yeah, there are 8.
Okay, I never knew about that.
There's Somalia, who is recently joined the EAC.
Okay.
Haven't you mentioned? Did you mention Rwanda?
Yes.
Rwanda, Burundi,
yeah.
Somalia, Tanzania, Kenya, DRC Congo.
Okay.
Which one did we mention? South Sudan.
South Sudan, okay.
And there's an 8th one. Did we mention Burundi already?
I think that's 8 already.
It's 8. Yeah.
Okay.
In South Sudan, yeah. So last year we were 7.
Okay.
Every year the EAC holds, the East Africa Secretariat holds the Heads of State Summit.
Okay.
This is a summit of all the partner states. All the presidents meet. And from that summit, that's when they added last year in November, Somalia. And Somalia gave in their credentials by April this year. That's when they were fully part of the EAC. So now we're 8 partner states. So the summit, the Heads of State Summit, is happening again in November, around 30th, November 30th. And probably we might have a 9th East Africa state, you never know.
Okay.
So we keep growing.
One thing I love about these regional blocks, such as East African Community or SADC, is because I love traveling, and I get to travel to all these countries without needing a visa. I just go there with my passport, I get stamped, and I go. And the funny thing is, some countries I was able to visit without even having a passport. Yeah, I remember the first time I went to Kenya, I didn't have a passport. I just went to Kinondoni. I got some few papers that enabled me to travel. So, apart from traveling freely without the need of visas, what other benefits do Tanzanians get from these kinds of alliances and collaborations?
Trade.
Okay.
Trade. I think youths were the money magnets. Huh? We know how to search for money. And I feel like East Africa is yet to be explored by youths who are thirsty of trading.
Okay.
So I think I can mention a few businesses that I think really work well. One will be logistics.
Okay.
Second will be we farm a lot. Tanzania is rich of land. We farm a lot. Selling crops to other countries as well, to our neighboring countries, is also a trade that we should invest in. Unaweza usiwe mkulima, lakini ukawa unajua namna ya kupata mazao na ukayasafirisha. It's a very good business. So as we aim at promoting the social, political, and economic growth of the EAC, I think this is where our marketing most needs to be done.
Okay.
So that youths can really understand what has to be tapped in from the EAC and what they can get from the EAC and the opportunities that are across the partner states. Because when we're talking of a regional integration agenda, we're trying to integrate East Africa to be one currency, probably maybe one government. Do you think we'll ever get there?
I believe there's nothing that's
impossible. Yeah, so it is in the 2020, I think it was the 2022-2026 goals. We're going there for the monetary union. Maybe we'll get there to one government as well. But before getting that far along, what can youths get that they can really push the regional integration agenda? Because we are the drive to push it. Because we are the majority.
Yeah.
So we can push our governments to get to that peak where they say, okay, the integration is finally happening on full force. But then, how are we getting there if youths ourselves don't have the knowledge of the EAC? So I think more knowledge has to be gotten out there. We need to have more summits where we're going to teach you the national anthems, teach you about the regional issues that maybe you don't know but are beneficial. Yeah, and I think Connectors Club can help us with that as well.
You know, you talked about having one government.
Yeah.
That will be a very tough job because...
Very tough.
I can see even Tanzania as a union of two countries, Tanganyika and Zanzibar, to form Tanzania. I love Zanzibar. I love going to Zanzibar. But the funny thing is, I was so surprised when I went to Zanzibar. I was driving there and the police stopped me and I showed them my license, my Tanzanian driving license. And they told me that, no, we do not recognize this. You need to have a license
from
Zanzibar. And I was so shocked. I was like
we are one.
Zanzibar? Yeah, we are one
Tanganyika
country.
and Zanzibar formed Tanzania.
Yeah, we are one country and it says Tanzania and I'm staying Tanzania. So all I can say is good luck with that because it's going to be very, very tough. But I believe you're going to make it.
I'm sure the Secretariat is working towards that. I'm just here as an advocate to make sure I push the agenda forward. So I'll do my advocacy work and I'll let the rest flow as it flows. Yeah.
We talked behind the camera about events and organizing events.
Yeah.
So how do you approach when you're planning to do a large scale event or a gathering? Yeah. How do you approach that?
Firstly, I take months of studying what I want to do. Okay. Months of making sure it's unique. Months of making sure that what I'm doing is solving someone's problem.
Yeah.
Because the thing we do, what I believe business is, what I believe events is, what I believe marketing is we are solving problems. Okay. So I would want an event that I'm organizing to be a problem solver.
Okay.
Either to the sponsors or to the audience or to both.
Okay.
So that's where my niche is, and that's where I end up creating something that's good. Yeah.
Can you share any memorable experience of an event that you did, and how did it go?
Okay. Okay, I've organized a number of events.
Okay.
A couple of events. That's going back way before I was even the speaker of the East Africa Youth Parliament. But East Africa Youth Awards happened to be my first mega award. I mean, my first mega event. Why? It's because I was bringing together people from 7 partner states.
Okay.
You know how bringing together one country is hard.
Yeah.
And imagine bringing in 7 partner states. And with the secretariat there, making sure that you're not biased.
Okay.
So kwamba unapendelea Tanzania kuliko wa Kenya, so kwamba unapendelea wa Kenya kuliko wa Tanzania, and you have to make the margins align. That was the most toughest, but we got there. Yeah, we got there.
I realized you also do marketing. How do you market an event like that for people to know about it and to attend as well?
Well, there are different marketing strategies, of which it all depends to how you want your event to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But for the East Africa Youth Awards in particular, we had to create ambassadors in every country.
Okay.
Influential ambassadors in every country.
Yeah.
And make sure that on a daily basis they talk about East Africa Youth Awards. They let people know that East Africa Youth Awards are coming up. They let people nominate each other. So we created a buzz for two months before.
Okay.
And how the buzz started, it started with how we did our launching press conference.
Okay.
For us, we did a launching press conference that was breakfast. You come in, eat and drink as much as you want.
Okay.
And then we tell you what we have for you. We had ambassadors come in for the launch of our event. Why we had ambassadors is because they are ambassadors to Tanzania from their respective countries. Uganda precisely was the guest of honor. Why? Because he is the eldest among the East Africa ambassadors.
What do you mean when you say the eldest?
Age-wise.
Okay.
So they call him Baba.
In terms of independence or in terms of what?
No, like the ambassador of Uganda is older than all other ambassadors of East Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what transpired is we had him come in, and because all other ambassadors call him Baba and they listen to him, we had him as our godfather for the inauguration of the awards, and also to help us talk to other ambassadors and pave way for us in their countries. Because on the launching of East Africa Youth Awards, we didn't have the secretariat backing us up. The secretariat came 5 months later, like 2 weeks to the awards. That's when the secretariat was like, we're interested in this project, so come on the table, we talk. And when they come in, we had to push the awards to a later month. We were to do it at around March, but when they came in, now that's where the alignment had to come in. How many of your nominees are from Kenya? How many of your nominees are from Tanzania? Do all that so that no country will complain that we were biased. So we did all that groundwork. Now we used also the secretariat to help us market ourselves. So the secretariat has friends of the secretariat. So friends of the secretariat were informed by official letters that we are legit. Our sponsors also then got letters from the secretariat, and that's when we finally got money after 6 months of moving up and down, doing the hassles. We made enough noise now to attract the sponsors. Now the sponsors were like, aha, we're now interested. Yeah. So that's how it went about.
Just for the record, how many sponsors did you approach and how many said yes?
Musa, I approached over 75.
Okay.
Not 75 as a number, I just thought off my head. 75 written down, listed, approached, dropped letters. And some of them were like, this is a very big thing. Do you think you can do it? Okay, we'll see. And some of them, they'll call you that, is your initiative still on? Because I can't see the bars. Like, we can't, it's not spoken of. Are you sure you're still there? And then out of the 75, we had 0 replies until when a post went viral through Millard Ayo's account.
Okay.
One post got us 5 confirmations. And it wasn't just confirmations, it was, what is your bank account so that we can put in money?
Okay.
But that was months later when we now had to like just post like East Africa Youth Awards are coming up. I'm telling you, this is just an Instagram post.
Okay.
And hours later, that's when the phones are ringing. The one that was posted today, is that yours? Okay, I think I saw you on that video. All right, can you come to the office tomorrow? Oh, what's your account number? When are the awards? Now this is when they got interested. But out of 75, and among the 5, 3 gave us money right then. 2 needed more convincing. So when they got convincing from the East Africa community, letters that went with letterheads, now they got convinced and money came in.
For someone to give you money, especially a sponsor, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of convincing. As you said, you wrote more than 75 letters to these sponsors. So what I'm interested in is, what did you write in those letters for the sponsors to trust you and give you their money?
I wrote, I think, okay, what did I precisely write? Should I be honest with you?
Yeah.
It was not what I wrote that convinced them.
Okay.
It was the prayers I backed up those letters with.
Okay.
That's what worked. Because there's nothing out of the blue that I wrote. It was just a 1-page letter that was attached with an 8 pages plan and like the whole proposal, and it was just attached like that. But to be honest, it wasn't my effort. It was God. It was the prayer I backed up with. Yeah, it was prayer, because it was simple. It was just, we are kindly requesting for sponsorship because we have this event expected to take place on this date at so and so venue. That was it. There was no magic in it.
You know, when you said about the prayers, I think I can relate as well, because as you know, we also have Connectors Club where we host different kinds of event. And on our last event, we contacted more than 200 companies, and almost all of them, let's say 99% rejected. Then some didn't even give us any kind of reply. We had to follow up. But then at the end of the day, just one company trusted us.
One phone call. I think I saw Monte's interview on that.
Yes. Yeah. So when people saw that GSM was sponsoring us,
everyone now came in.
Yes.
Yeah, the magic happened. I know. I can relate. Because for me, when one bank now sponsored us, first for me it was huge. Musa, I wouldn't lie to you. You're not starting something from the scratch, and you have no idea how it's going to turn out. And people, I'm not a celebrity. My name is not out there that you say, okay, her celebrityness will carry her. I'm not a celebrity. But having my name out there and a bank, a whole bank, sponsoring the first event. I remember the board chairperson of the board, because we also have a board of directors, like the board chairperson was like, wow, we secured the bank? I'm like, yes. For the first time event? I'm like, yes, we did. And I remember kneeling down and crying after that press conference. I kneeled down in a car and I was like, God, like they really gave us this money. That's when notifications pop up that the account had received the money. I'm like, God, they really did it. God, they really trusted us. And that's where I really now had to settle down and say, God, I need this to be so big. So help me, God. And I will tell you, challenges came in. I will get to that part. Challenges came in to an extent that Musa, I was like, God, there's a favorite Bible scripture of mine. It's Isaiah 61, chapter 7. Instead of your shame, you shall receive double. This is what I was singing the whole day of the event. Because my brother, I was about to get ashamed in front of 7 partner states. And I was like, God, this is not my portion. Oh my God. I'm like, God, this is not my portion. And at that time, it was just me and the board chairperson. Every other team member had disappeared into thin air. Anyway, so yeah, to get someone to trust you, you really need to keep that trust and make sure that you overdo what you promised them you will deliver. Yeah.
You know what I noticed is most sponsors don't really care about what you do or whatever you stand for. What they only care about is what will your event benefit them. Exactly. Yeah. So even us, whenever we are trying to approach sponsors, we always try to list every benefit that they're going to get. But still, they don't even care about that. They don't. Yeah. So the only care that they want is, most Tanzanians, it's like they are following the leader. So if someone is doing it, they will think like, okay, this guy is doing it. This guy is doing it.
Then we should do it too.
Yeah, then it should be good.
Yeah.
So that's when they all start
coming in. Yeah, and you'll be amazed the next time you announce that you're doing an event. They'll be there. They'll be the ones calling you. You've not asked us about this event. We really want to pitch in. Yeah, it's always hard at first, but later on they just come in. And I wouldn't lie to you, there's a wave of events right now, a big wave, and all of them are writing letters to the same sponsors we write letters to. So I always advise people, when I'm either dealing with a client that needs my services as a branding or marketing consultancy, I always tell them, make sure that your brand or whatever your event will do is solving someone else's problem. Whoever you're following, GSM, learn about their products, learn about their problems, and let your event be that marketing guru for them. Let it be the AI to their problems. Yeah.
What are some of the advices that you would give for young people? Because most people who are watching us are youth, between ages of 20 to 35. So what advice would you give to someone who is watching right now who wants to be an event organizer?
Musa, what's written on my t-shirt?
There's beauty in the struggle.
That's my advice. There's beauty in the struggle. You have to struggle and see the beauty. The beauty doesn't come before the struggle. So there's beauty in the struggle. There's a lot of beauty in the struggle. You look at your struggles, and that beauty that comes out of it will keep you in awe. But you have to go through that path of the struggle. I will give you an example. I think when we were walking in here, I told you I really wanted to be at the Vusi Thembekwayo's event.
Yeah.
And luckily, behind the scene, one thing that Connectors Club don't know, behind the scene, I have kind of worked for you. Behind the scenes.
Okay.
Behind the scenes.
Tell me more about that.
I have worked for you behind the scene. I think I was the one who created your most viral content.
Okay.
But I always love to be behind the scenes. that was all my idea. And I really wanted to see this event come to pass because I feel like I was part of it from the ground. One of the teammates from your team knows. I think I had a very long phone call with him on some issues. We'll talk about them out of my OD podcast, but I have been part of that, and I really wanted to witness what this event is going to be like, because another secret that I should share with you, I once sent an email to Vusi Thembekwayo's team wanting to bring Vusi Thembekwayo to Tanzania.
Okay.
For an event I called Jobs and Java. But unfortunately, when I saw the rate card, I was like, Jesus, I walk away peacefully. This is not my league. So seeing you guys were able to do it, there's that kind of satisfaction I got, and I'm like, wow, I really want to witness this event. And I am glad that your team overmet my expectations. You outdid on that one. It was big. It was mega. You killed it. Regardless the challenges that you faced, you killed it. So I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, thank you. You know, talking about Connectors Club, one thing about the club is a lot of people come to me and ask me, what is Connectors Club? Or who is Connectors Club? As you said, you helped Connectors Club behind the scenes. Yeah. You didn't ask for any credit. No. I didn't even know that you did that. So one thing about the club is there are a lot of people who put a lot of efforts to push our events. Some of them, I don't even know them personally. Yeah. But what Connectors Club is, it's for everyone who wants to help others connect, who wants to help the youth get to that next level. So how we want it to be, we want everyone to feel like Connectors Club is theirs. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's for the people. Yeah, it's for everyone. So I really appreciate when you said that you had your contribution
behind the scenes on the low. Yeah. And what I loved about it is that video went so viral to an extent. I was seated in my bed. I was heavily pregnant at that time. So I was just looking at the logarithms and I'm like, wow, nice.
I did it.
Yeah, I did it. In my head, I was like, I did it. Yeah. So bringing that to fruition was really good. Yeah.
We talked about a lot of challenges of doing events or running non-profit organization. So how do you stay motivated during these kinds of challenges?
Prayer keeps me motivated. I wanted to throw in the towel a lot of times, but I just go down on my knees. I worship, and when I worship, I just give God the burden, and I'll come out smiling like everything is okay. So what keeps me motivated is prayer, but also what keeps me motivated is one quote that I have printed in my house. I want to show you a picture because I have it everywhere. It's this comment also that keeps me motivated. This one.
Keep winning and inspire your fellow youth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's from Joseph Kusaga.
Yeah, and I can see in this picture.
Yeah,
it's you and
him.
Joseph Kusaga.
Yeah, I met him once.
Okay.
And we sat down. We talked about the event.
In a yacht.
Yes. And it was my first yacht ride.
Okay.
By the way, I should thank you for pointing out, in a yacht.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that part. Yeah. And later on, when I shared that picture, I didn't expect Joseph Kusaga to comment.
Okay.
At all. So when he commented that, I was like, so this is what he thinks I'm doing. This is the way he sees me. You know, Joseph Kusaga is a legend. For him to tell me, keep on inspiring your fellow youth, sometimes I want to throw in the towel. I have this framed, actually. It's in my bedroom. When I wake up, there's a Bible verse on top, there's that picture in between, and there's a Bible verse. So I look at the Bible verse, I recite it, I look at that comment, it boosts me up, I finish with my last Bible verse recitement, and my day starts. So each time I feel like, okay, I'm doing something that is out of the line, each time that I feel like I am trying to give up, I remember his words that keep on inspiring your fellow youths. And I look at it like there are people who are inspired by me. There are people who Joseph Kusaga thinks that I am serving them, and indeed I am serving them. So I still need to keep my head above the water. So that's what motivates me.
I would say I personally met Joseph Kusaga, and he really inspired me because we have a dream. Actually, right now it's a work in progress already because we have already started it. We wanted to have a media company. So we're like, having a media company, who do we go to first? So through our connections, it got us to Joseph Kusaga, and he gave us a lot of advices about starting a media without expecting anything
in return. That's Joseph Kusaga for you. Joseph Kusaga is much more open to youths. I think he loves to see youths who are passionate about making a change. I think Joseph Kusaga is a man that wants to leave a footprint of that says, I didn't walk alone. I carried masses behind me. And he just keeps on motivating youths, telling them they can do it, and where he can support, he supports. Can I tell you a funny thing? Do you know Joseph Kusaga came to my event in Arusha? Like, flew in from Dar es Salaam to Arusha for East Africa Youth Awards. He did.
Okay.
I am not a celebrity. I don't have those big names. I am not a daughter of some, but he came in support. He came in. And he also supported some of his staff that were also nominated for the elections. I mean, for the awards, how to reach to Arusha. He facilitated them, and he even did an after party for them.
Okay.
Yeah, so he really helps youths, and I really look up to him as a mentor, and he is a man with a golden heart. Yeah.
And was it before or after he invited you on a yacht?
It was before. This yacht was when East Africa Youth Awards was just a dream. And I am about to accomplish it, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go about it. And the yacht ride was like, kichwa ipoe kwanza. Poozwa kichwa na haya mawimbi ya bahari. And understand kwamba just as the ocean is big, the world is full of diverse solutions to your problems. So navigate through them. So as we navigated through the waves, my mind also navigated through solutions. Yeah.
One funny story about Joseph Kusaga is when we first started this podcast, he accepted to be the guest on the podcast, even though we had no even a single show that we had done.
Yeah, that's Joseph Kusaga for you.
After he accepted, and you were like, no, we cannot do it with him right now because it was a shame for us because we were shooting with phones, we didn't have cameras, we didn't have lights, we didn't have AC. You're like, how can we get Joseph Kusaga to sit here without all of this stuff? Yeah. So we're like, no, let's work our ass off. Let's say for 2 years, let's get that quality that we want, and then we'll call him later. But just for him saying yes, I can do it, without us having done nothing before, that was really
and good. The Joseph Kusaga I know, trust me, he could have come and he could have shot, and afterwards it will be like, boys, which equipment do you need? I'm sure that is what he could have done. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, so So when clouds come with that saying that nakufungulia dunia kuwa unachotaka, I can say he really lives
by
statement.
that. Yeah, he surely does. He surely
so,
does.
So it's very nice. And you're a leader. Yeah. You are the speaker of the EAC. So how does someone become a leader? What qualities does someone needs to have to become a leader like you are?
I would say this is a bit tricky, but I would say learn a lot about who you want to lead. For me, speaking about me, leading was my passion. I have led since I've been in school. If I don't win the votes of being a monitress, I won't eat at home. I would sleep sulking. Why didn't I be a monitress? You understand? But then, as I grew, my passion grew and grew and grew and grew. Hivi unajua niligombea ubunge wa viti maalum vijana. Nikakosa kura. When that happened, I wanted to give up on leadership. Totally and completely. Then that's when the position for the East Africa Parliament came in. If you remember, Aponyuma, I told you, I said, I want this position, whether I know about the EAC or I don't. Hiyo asira ya kushinda zile kura, making a good speech, ilitoka kwenye kukataliwa na wajumbe wa chama changu. So I think leadership is a passion. As for me, it's a passion. And the passion comes from wanting to serve. I want to make a change. I want to leave footprints of change. Whatever I see that is not right, I believe I can fit pale and make a change. That's how your video came to my hands, the one that I created. Whoever was creating that content didn't have ideas. Me and my leadership head was like, I must intervene. Give out a whole script of how this has to be done. Make sure it's perfect. And then sasa iende kwa walaji. So I think maybe some of us are just born wanting to be leaders and with leadership in us. Or maybe our passion to serve doesn't allow us not to want leadership positions. But for me, it's passion. I think it's something I was born with. Because I've been wanting it since I was in primary school. All the way, leadership has been my thing. And I'm not done. I'll get there. I'll get to where I'm going. And I think the next time we do a podcast, I'll be there.
Okay. So you have a passion for leadership. Okay. So what piece of advice would you give to a younger self when you're starting out on being a leader?
I will tell myself the same words on the t-shirt. There's beauty in the struggle. Why those words again? Because I have thrown in the towel at positions or at initiatives that could have made me further than where I am today. I gave up too early because I felt like it's too painful. This struggle is not for me. But looking at what I have achieved after going through a series of struggles, there's beauty in it. And only if I was patient at that time, I could have been somewhere very far today. So I would still tell myself there's beauty in the struggle. Calm down. Walk through it.
When you're organizing events, there are a lot of stuffs that happens. Some are challenging, some are disappointing, and some are just funny. You just sit there and start laughing.
And some are all of the above.
Yes. So I remember on our last event with Vusi Thembekwayo, something happened and I was so surprised. As you said, you wanted to bring Vusi some other day in the past.
Ila mmeweza ndugu zangu mchota. Mmeweza. Zile sifuri niliziona.
So you saw the price.
Yeah.
Is in the region of tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to mention that.
Lisa, you can't.
Because I'm sure Vusi will want to sue me.
Yeah.
Because we had a contract with him.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing that happened is after paying all those tens of thousands of dollars to Vusi, after doing everything for him because he wanted first class, everything, presidential
apart from
suit.
Apart from the payment.
Yes, presidential suit. He wanted all the cars that are carrying him to be G classes. Yes, he wants sparkling water. He wants security, to be wearing some kind of clothes that he wants. That guy is very organized. So, coming to the funny thing that happened is after paying all that money, after receiving him, he was in the hotel. The next day, we were supposed to do an event. So,
the dinner now, or the
first event, yes. So, some money shorted, about $40. And that $40 is not that we didn't pay it. We paid it. We paid the full amount. But the bank had to take some charges. So it wasn't our fault. It was the bank's fault. And they said, we're not going to do an event if you don't pay that $40.
Out of those figures that I know, because I have an invoice from them.
Yes. I was so surprised. I remember I didn't see that email coming in. So we were just chilling and finalizing for the next day. And one of our co-founders, Monty, came to me like, bro, did you see this email? I was so disappointed. At the same time, I found it very funny. I was like, oh man. Yeah. That was
and then
that was very
mko
crazy.
naye macho makavu kabisa.
So
God. Okay.
yeah. So how about you? Because you organize events as well. So what's the most funny or unexpected situation that happened?
Mine was worse.
in your events? Yeah.
Mine was worse. Bora nye $40. Mnaweza hata mkachangishana. Ni how much in shillings?
It was
Around 120. Tachangishana hata 10 or I thought in 10. What happened to me is the event is here and I'm confirming with all the sponsors. And one sponsor of mine backed out.
Okay.
And without this sponsor, there's no event.
Wow. They backed
The
out
very
after giving the money or before.
Huyu alikuwa toia. Huyu alikuwa anatoa service.
Okay.
Na bila service yake bro,
There's no event.
event hamna.
Wow.
And they backed out because
Yeah.
they had another event that's bigger
Okay.
that they're paid.
Okay.
So 4 days towards the event, I don't have a decor and setup team.
You don't have a what?
Decor and setup team.
Okay. Wow. I'm really interested on where the story is going.
God.
Yeah.
Remember I told you, out of my teammates, out of the board, tulioweza kufika mwisho pamoja ni mimi na the chair person.
Okay.
Only by God's grace.
Yeah.
Salute to her.
How did you handle that?
I'm getting there. I need So my board chairperson was from surgery a few months ago. So we couldn't put a lot of strain on her.
Okay.
So at that point, I have sponsors ambao tayari wako hapa.
Okay.
And I have this hiccup. What do I do about it? I got to Arusha 3 days before the event for setup, kupokea other delegates that were coming from South Sudan and all that, because we had some people fly in. And oh, by the way, I just remembered one other thing. I also had cancellation from the guest of honor.
Wow.
I had cancellation from the guest of honor 2 hours. No. Something like 7 hours before the event.
Okay.
We'll get there. Let's start with the decor.
And you already announced the guest of honor? And
Yeah.
they cancelled?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Former president of one country.
Okay.
And I'm told, I'm sorry, he can't make it. So we are sending
His
this
representative.
representative. Did I even get a representative, my brother? I didn't. I didn't. I couldn't even get the Secretary General to come in because he also had issues of the state, of the partner states to deal with.
Yeah.
So I got the representative of the Secretary General to come as the guest of honor. Now, you know, on events we like to do venue setup a night before.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't do that because there was another event at Grand Melia at that night, which I was promised it will end by midnight. Until midnight, I didn't know how the setup was going to be.
Okay.
I was so confused. And I tried getting 3 invoices of how much it will cost to do venue setup.
Okay.
And I remember a very good friend of mine, a brother I can say, gave me a quotation of 54 million Tanzanian shillings to do setup.
Okay.
Let me remind you, on these awards, we didn't charge anyone who was coming in. It was, you come into the event, dinner will be served, you have an invitation card, there's no buying tickets or anything.
Yeah.
And for the venue, you understand it's Grand Melia, so you pay per person, per head for dinner.
Okay.
We had all that sorted. Until when all the invoices that are coming, the list for setup was 35 million.
Okay.
Let me remind you, it's 4 days before the event, and you're supposed to raise 35 million.
Okay.
So I didn't. So that night, standing there looking at that venue, my head was blank because I was too tense to do anything. So I remember Madam Advocate Eleanor, our chairperson, asked me, what are we going to do about the venue? And I told her we'll use it the same way it is with no decor. And she turned around and looked at me like, are you crazy? How? And I was just like, yeah. And I went to bed because at that time I was frustrated. So waking up past midnight, the event downstairs is still ongoing. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do. I can't even access the venue. And they didn't bring out their things until 10 a.m. the day of my event. Okay. 10 a.m. the day of my event. So standing there now, I'm watching them breaking all their banners, and the event was a fashion show. So it even had a runway. So tell me, disassembling all that, how long it takes. So it was 12 noon. I was there, and I called one of my sponsors, the printer. And I told him, I have an idea. He was like, what's your idea, Helen? We are 7 partner states. We are going to set up the venue with the president's faces. Yeah. So I called my graphic designer. He did outstanding banners. So the whole front was decorated with banners, and we had our screen there. So that's how I managed my challenge. Wow. The tables I have a friend, Lux Events. She does events in Arusha, Deco. She did the table setups, and we were good to go. So whoever came to the venue was like, wow. In my head, I'm like, guys. So this crazy and funny fact made me go on stage on the awards without applying makeup because I didn't have time to do all that. I was busy setting up the venue. So it got to time the ambassadors are arriving and I have not showered yet. I'm there at the venue and guests are arriving. So I had to use the back door of the venue, go upstairs, shower, spray my perfume, comb my hair back straight. I thank God it had curls, wear my earrings, and voila, I'm here for the event. No makeup, no nothing. And I didn't relax that whole event. There was no relaxing at any point of it. And I knew my guest of honors were not coming. It was a disappointment, but I couldn't tell some of the sponsors at that time. How would you now tell them that the expected honorable so and so and so and so can't make it? So we ended up with whoever we had. The event was successful. Everyone was happy. We learned from the challenges, but events, that's why I had to give you 5. Vusi, Thembekwayo. Guys, you did it.
Thank you. So, if event planning skills was a superhero, what would you name yourself?
Have you ever watched Scandal?
Scandal.
A series called Scandal. There's a lady called Olivia Pope. Okay. She's a fixer. Okay. She fixes all the mess for the president. Okay. It's a very intriguing movie. You should watch it. I think I'm the fixer. Call me the fixer. Because the way I fixed every loophole in this event, I think my superpower is being a fixer.
Nice.
You need fixing anytime, call me. Trust me, I always have solutions.
Oh, that's crazy. So, coming to an end, we have this program whereby the previous guest leaves you a question that you have to answer without knowing who left you the question. Okay. And you as well, you're supposed to leave a question for the next guest without knowing who they are. So there's a question for you here.
All right.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen 5 years down the line? Where is Tanzania going to be? Especially right now, where Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan is our president, which we are praying that she stays president.
Who wrote this question?
You don't have to know.
Why did she choose? Why did he or she choose me of all people to answer this question? Kapu alina swali lingine. It was just that one.
Just one question.
I can't choose another one. I can't choose another one.
You have to answer the question. Where is Tanzania going to be in 5 years? What do you think?
Musa, why? Musa, why? God. Okay. Helena the fixer. Fix yourself out of this question.
Exactly.
Okay. Where is Tanzania going to be? I'll answer it in this way. It depends where we as Tanzanians want it to be. The decisions of where we want our country to be and how we want our country, where and how we want our country to be, solely depends on us as Tanzanians.
So we are supposed to build the country on how we want it to be.
Yes.
Okay.
However the country will be after 5 years is the result of how we build. We have chosen, or we chose, or we are yet to choose how it's going to be, because we have elections in 2025. As you said, you wish High Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan continues. So put your wishes into action. Okay. And then that's how we're going to have a Tanzania that we wish to have.
Okay, that's great. And what question would you like to leave for the next guest?
Where does the next guest see Connectors Club in 5 years? Not only Connectors Club and My OD podcast in 5 years. And to add up to that question is, if he or she was to be re-invited in My OD podcast after 5 years, what changes would he or she expect to see, and would she gladly accept the invite the same way they accepted the invite now?
That's very personal, but I like it.
How is it personal? How is it personal?
Because it involves me
Oh,
directly. So
you ask me that question, I can answer it in a blink of an eye. Because it takes you meeting with a person, having a discussion with a person. We have been here for what, hours? 2 hours roughly. I have seen your passion in the way you ask questions. I have seen your passions and how your passion in how you talk about Connectors Club, your passion in how you link Connectors Club with My OD podcast, of which they totally and seemingly go together. But I also heard of the dream you have of opening a media company. So that question is a very easy question, judging from what I have learned about you guys in these few hours that I've been here. What the view of the person will now become personal to you guys, because you will know how big people see you. Me sitting here right now, what I see Connectors Club as and what I see My OD podcast as probably is not what you guys see of yourselves. You guys might see yourself as a startup. But for me, I wouldn't call you a startup. Looking from, I have organized events, so I've been where you've been. I know how hard it is to collect people together. I have seen how you communicate, how you set your adverts out there, how you market your products, how you engage with people, how you create content when you went to Arusha and all that, how you try and engage people. So for me, you are not startups. I wouldn't label you as startups, but the question comes to you guys yourself, see yourself in the same eyes that we see you guys. So the one who will answer that question will challenge you guys into seeing the magnitude of how great you are from our lenses. Yeah.
Anyways.
I got you emotional there.
Yeah.
I got you emotional. I saw it. I got you emotional. But yeah, you guys are doing a really good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's it for today. I know I have a lot of questions that I haven't asked you yet. And I wish I could have added more questions, but time is not in our favor. So I will let the audience decide. So if you want Helena to come back for part 2, just comment down below. What would you want Helena to talk about? And also follow us on our social medias. Stay subscribed and follow Helena as well, because we are going to link down all our social medias down in the description. And with that being said, bye and stay subscribed, and see you on the next episode. Thank you.